Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'll be talking about my son Maximus. A lot of you guys really wanted me to do this video, so yeah, I'm gonna do it. As you guys can see, I fixed my background because the other one was not doing its job. So I actually found this is the old one that I was looking for in my last video, but I couldn't find it. So we're back and the quality should be a little bit better. I hope so. I don't know. A lot of you guys did ask questions and I will be answering it. But before I answer the questions, I'm going to tell like my whole story on like everything, and then I'll answer the questions, because most of the questions were, it was mainly about like, oh, what's your son's diagnosis or what's wrong with him. So when you hear my story, I've already answered the questions. So yeah, and then for those who like went a little bit more in depth or asked specific questions, yeah, I'll answer those at the end, if that makes sense. Alright, we're just gonna get right into it, because then you know your girl could talk. I know it'll be like a pretty long video, so just please bear with me, but I promise it's worth watching. Alright, so I'm just gonna jump into everything. Okay. I'm a bit nervous, so if you hear me like stuttering or whatnot, don't mind me. Alright, I did put a little bit of glam on, you know, because I couldn't be on here looking a little ratchet. So yeah, so girls, grab your motherfucking drinks and your chips and whatever makes you comfortable, because this video will be long, just like my other one. Alright, let's get to it. Okay, so I was pregnant with Maximus. Throughout my pregnancy, it was really good. I didn't have any, what is that called? Like pregnancy symptoms. I've never had that. Not even with my first son. I've never had morning sickness or like cravings, nothing. I would just lie and say I was craving something just so my man could bring me something. To be honest, I was being on like some fat shit all the time, but you know, a girl had to eat for two. I know people say that's a myth, but I took advantage. When I'm pregnant, I take advantage of everything, and I eat everything and anything, and I gained, let me tell you, all the weight too, but whatever. So yeah, so throughout my pregnancy, it was healthy. Every ultrasound appointment that I went to, they would tell me everything's normal, and you know, keep drinking water and eating healthy and blah blah blah. I did gain 56 pounds. That's a lot. But with my first pregnancy, I gained 78 or 88 pounds. I gained a lot. So I know for the second one, I'm like, all right, I do have to eat a lot better and try not to gain as much weight as I gained with the first, you know, my first baby. And so I did, you know, I only gained 56 pounds. During your pregnancy, you do have to do the glucose, is it called glucose test? Like you have to drink this like drink, and it's like disgusting. Well, I didn't do that. I don't know why, but they didn't have me like drink that to know, like, I think that's for like your sugars. I'm not sure what, but yeah, I didn't do that, nor did I bother to like ask about it, because with my first son, like, you know, they had me doing all these tests and drinking and do the glucose test and all that. And I noticed with my second son, they weren't really doing as much test on me as they were doing with my first son. I'm not gonna put the hospital name out there, but yeah, it's a pretty crappy hospital, let me tell you. So yeah, that had happened. I remember specifically this ultrasound. So this is when they do the anatomy, where they do the measurements and everything. I believe I was 20 weeks. And I remember I was talking to the girl, and she was telling, like, I'm always that person, like I said, the girl, I love to talk and I always ask questions. So I remember when she was like, you know, on my belly, you know, doing measurements and taking pictures, she did tell me, she was like talking to me, whatever. So I did ask her like, oh, you know, how long have you been in this field, blah blah blah. She's like, oh, I've studied radiology, it's only a 2-year program, but I'm still in the process, or something. She said that she just finished her 2-year program, so she's fresh, you know, and blah blah. So when she did say she was like new, I'm just like, oh, okay. Like I was just like, I have like an iffy feeling, but I'm just like, whatever. It's, you know, she's just taking ultrasounds. Like, what can go wrong? So on that document, it says like the face is normal, eyes, mouth, and nose normal, ears normal. Like, it literally had everything, like the body, everything was normal. So, you know, when you get that news like that everything's normal, you're like, okay, like, all right, my son is good, healthy, you know. All right. Sorry if I am talking fast. Like, I don't know how to like start this. So yeah. So whatever, we received the news like that everything's normal, good to go, and I'm like, all right. I believe that was the last ultrasound I had. I didn't have any more ultrasounds after that, to be honest. I remember I was like 36 weeks. So, oh, you know what had happened? My insurance, something happened with my insurance, so that's why we didn't like, we weren't able to do an ultrasound appointment, because then I would have to pay out of pocket, and at that time I obviously didn't have money like that. So they requested me to go to someone like a different building because I didn't have any insurance, and it was still pricey. I had to pay $174 just to get this ultrasound done, but I was still like 32 or 36 weeks, I can't remember. So when they did the ultrasound, I remember the lady's like, you're so big, like we can't even see the baby. Like, so I'm like, so then what's the point of me paying $174? So whatever, it was just like a big whole drama. 3 weeks before my due date, we were discussing about doing natural or C-section, because I had done a C-section with my first son. But I'm like, I was very determined to do natural, because I'm like, no, like I want to do natural. Maximus was head down, but he was being stubborn. He was head down, but he wasn't like in the spot that he's supposed to, like his head wasn't where it was supposed to be. It was near, but it wasn't close enough. So I would do all these workouts to try to like push him. I would put ice and everything. I remember they had said something like they can do something where they push the baby like itself, but you can like harm the baby. So obviously I didn't go with that, but I would do all the workouts and it wasn't working out. So then a week later or so, you know, I had to go for my weekly appointment, and then the doctor's like, all right, if you go past your due date, your C-section can erupt or something, because I was so big. My stomach was so disgusting. Like, it was not like your cute, you know, those cute girls who have their cute bellies and taking cute pictures. No, my stomach was so odd. Like, it was like pointy and low. Like, my stomach literally sat on my legs, like, I don't know. And I couldn't even, I had to, when I would sit, I would have to spread my leg open so my stomach could go in the middle of my legs. Like, it was, I'm telling you, it was so nasty and weird. Yeah, so to be honest, that was kind of a sign. When I would mention it to the doctors, they just said, oh, you're just, you know, low carrier or whatever that means. I had no choice, but I had to do a C-section again, because God forbid, like, at night, like, all of a sudden my cut open, and then, like, you know, God forbid anything else worse would have happened. So I scheduled my C-section. I wanted to do May 5th, you know, Cinco de Mayo. So, like, we were so excited, but my OB had to go on vacation or something about she had her vacation date set up for May 5th. So we had to settle for May 4th, you know. So May 4th came. We were so excited, you know, because we're having the baby. And me, I was like, I just need this baby to get out of me because I'm tired of being fat. Girl, by the end of your pregnancy, it's like I enjoyed the beginning, but then yeah, towards the end, I was like, I was tired of not being able to walk, right? Walking like a penguin, looking like a freaking marshmallow. Like, when you're pregnant, it's beautiful, but there are times where you're like, you look at yourself in the mirror. Well, I look at myself in the mirror and I'm just like, damn, like, I gained so much weight. I felt disgusted. Like, even though I knew, you know, I have a baby and whatever, but there are times where I feel low. So yeah, it wasn't that easy for me, you know, to just be looking at myself, whatever. So the day has come where we, you know, we checked ourselves in. We were so excited. I remember for a C-section they have to prep your room, so in the meantime you're in a different room while they're monitoring the baby, and then and they ask you all these questions, like a whole process, and then they take you to the room and they give you like a shot, the anesthesia, and let me tell you, that thing, like, you can't feel it, like, in your back. And I remember they told me, they're like, all right, we're gonna inject you, but you can't move. So what they did is, and oh, while they're doing all this, Brandon is not in the room. No one could be in the room, only you. And when they let someone come in, it's only one person, which is, well, whoever you want. Yeah, so Brandon at this time was not in the room yet. So I remember, like, you know, I'm sitting there all hunched, like, oh shit, like, I'm I'm shaking, and he's like, you can't shake, don't move. So he put his cold ass finger and touched my back, and I jumped. And he's like, no, don't do that. If you do that, you're gonna be paralyzed. So I'm like, I literally tried my best to, like, stay still. And, like, I remember we had, like, 6 nurses holding my, like, fat ass down like this. And yeah, whatever, they did it. And I remember, like, I felt all that. Like, it was a weird, like, it wasn't painful, but it was just, like, a shocking feeling. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Whatever. So, like, yeah, they did that, and then they laid me down. And I remember they're like, so you're on a bed, and they kept putting, so this is my head, and this is my body. And I remember they kept putting, like, the bed up like that, so I guess so the anesthesia can, like, go down or whatever. And I was numb from, like, my legs and up, but from my hip and, like, forward, I was not. So he had a needle, and he would, or it felt like a needle, I don't know what the hell it was, but he would touch me and be like, do you feel this? And I'm like, yes. So I was like shitting bricks. Like, I'm like, oh my god, they're gonna cut me open, and I'm gonna feel everything. Like, my body, and I was telling him, it's not working, I could feel everything. And like, you could tell they were freaking out. So then they put the bed like this, literally, I'm over here dying and shit, like, the blood circulating. Yeah, después, like, I felt like the little tingling numbness happen. So I was like, okay, we're good doctors, like, let's go. So after they had me like this with my head all the way down here, then they put me back like that. And then they started, you know, they called Brandon in. And then I remember Brandon's like, do you mind if I look? Because when he tried watching, like I said, I had a C-section before with Neymar. And when he tried watching Neymar, they told him no. Like, he wanted to record it. They told him no, it's illegal, blah, blah. He's like, well, can I look? They said no. So I remember there's like a blue curtain, and it was like on his shoulder, and he like hit the curtain, and the curtain fell, and he was all thirsty trying to look. And I remember he got in trouble. It was so funny. Yeah, with Neymar, I still had the same doctor, but something had happened, so she wasn't able to deliver my baby. So a different doctor delivered the baby, and she was like saying no, whatever. But how this time it was my doctor, she actually told Brandon, like, yeah, you can watch, but it's at your own risk. Like, if you faint, like, and I'm like, Brandon, I swear to God, if you faint and I have the baby, and that, you know, oh, I was like, come on, just like, don't even look, you're gonna be disgusted and then look at me all weird afterwards. But no, he was down as hell. He sure enough stood up, and he was looking over the curtain at everything, whatever. So in the meantime, they had me like laying, you know, flat on the bed with my arms like this, so I'm looking up. Girl, tell me why there's like this gray thing, but it's like it's like a mirror. Like, it's not a mirror, but you could see what they're doing on me. And I'm like this, looking up, like, oh hell no. And I see like the tools that they're gonna use to like cut me and shit. And oh hell no, that's when I was like, I try not to look, but like I wanted to see too, but there was just so much going on at that moment. And then I would see Brandon's face, like, reactions, like, and I'm like, oh my god, he's gonna faint, fuck, like, I didn't know what to do. And so it was funny, it was crazy and funny, let me tell you. Anyway, so I remember they pulled Neymar out. I mean, Neymar, when they pulled Maximus out, right away, you know, everybody's like, yeah, like, you know, preaching. And then usually they like let you see the baby, because I remember they let me see Neymar right away. But no, this time I remember they pulled Max out, and then they like ran to like where they clean the baby, I'm assuming, or cut the umbilical cord. And I'm just like, cause I'm like, okay, well maybe, like, you know, it's different, I don't know. So they're over there, and like I know I'm all drugged up and stuff, but like I hear them like, okay, call so and so, and then like this doctor comes in. Like, I just hear them like talking over there, and I'm over here, girl, like this, like, or like, who the hell's gonna pay attention to me, like, you know. And not even Brandon's over here watching me. Nobody was watching me, girl. Nobody cared. Like I could have, you know, been on some other stuff and everybody's over there. Then whatever, so I'm like this, looking up, and a doctor puts his big ass face like, all right, ma'am, I know you got this. All we need to do is just a little bit of surgery, and I think we're good. And I'm like, what? Like I was so confused. I thought they were talking about me. I'm like, I just had surgery. Like, what the fuck? So I'm just like I said, I was so confused. And then Brandon brings me the baby. He's holding the baby, and he's like, you see, babe, like it's just this, but it's normal. Some, like, I heard something about normal, but when I saw Maximus's face, like nothing was wrong with him. I'm like, what are they talking about? Like, am I drunk? Like, I saw nothing wrong with him. Like, he looked like, well, how Neymar looked when I had him. And then they took him away. I'm just like, okay. So, you know, after you have your C-section, they take you to the recovery room. You have to be there for like a good hour. And then you know, they put me in the recovery room, and let me tell you, nobody checked up on me in that recovery room. So, and I had my phone, and I was calling my mom, texting my mom, Brandon, because I'm like, is nobody gonna visit me? Like, what the hell? Like, I'm in the room, and let me tell you, no TV, and then the service sucked. So you go to the recovery room, and then they do bring you your stuff. So that's how I had my phone. But I was in the room by myself for a good while, let me tell you. Then I remember my mom coming in, and everyone, like, she was just, like, her face, like, said it all. And I'm just like, everything's okay? And then she's like, yeah, like, you know, they're just trying to see what's wrong with the baby and blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like I said, like, I didn't think nothing of, nor, like, was there any information given to me. Then she walked out. I remember the doctor came in and told me something about we have to transfer my son to the NICU, the University of Chicago. And then I'm like, what? Like, you guys are gonna take him away? For what? Like, they wouldn't tell me. Nobody was telling me anything. And they're like, well, we're not sure yet, ma'am, but we have to take him to the NICU. And I'm like, well, can I see him? Like, how are you gonna just take him away from me? Like, what the? I was pissed. So whatever, they finally found a room for me. They transferred me into my room. I get the room. And, you know, last time with Neymar, you know, Neymar was in the room already when I got there. So when I went to the room, I'm like, where's my son? And they're like, oh, they're like putting him in the incubator, whatever it's called. And at that time, I still didn't know what the hell that was. I'm like, what? Like, I was a little slow back then, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't even know what a NICU was. Like, girl, I learned so much, like, from having Max. Like, I didn't know what a NICU was. I didn't even know about University of Chicago. Like, I was so lost, so lost. So, you know, me being me, I was throwing a tantrum. So what they did is they let me see Max. You want to know how they let me see Max? They told me to look at the door, and they were passing by, pulling Max, like, in the incubator, the box thingy, pulling him away. And I'm like, I can't grab him. And I just saw, like, I have an image. I'll post an image right here. So this is how I saw him. He was all, like, tied up, or, like, just, like, all, you know, in the box. So right then and there, I was, like, emotional, because I'm like, what the hell happened? Like, why are you guys doing this? Why are you taking him away from me? Like, I didn't get it. I didn't understand, you know? And so, yeah, it was hard. I do apologize if I, you know, cry a little bit, look like Kim K when she's crying. But I'm gonna try my best not to cry. So whatever, they took him away, and then Brandon went with him, and I stood by myself in the room until my mom came. So my mom stood with me, and you know, Brandon went to go with the baby. But I was so lost, and what got me emotional is that Brandon was emotional, and I've never in my life seen him so emotional. And like, when I would ask him questions, he wouldn't respond. So like I was just so confused. Let me tell you, I was so lost. Not only was I on drugs, girl, but I was lost, like, so lost. So whatever, they took the baby, I was with my mom in the room. You know, my mom was keeping me company. And then I don't have no waterproof makeup. What the hell is wrong with me? So whatever. But I kept getting calls like from the hospital, since I guess Brandon and I are not legally married. Brandon had no saying in like anything of what they wanted to do for Maximus. So they would call me like, is it okay if we, you know, give him anesthesia? Or is it okay if we put him to sleep real quick so we could do the MRI? Or is it okay? Like, they were doing so much testings on him, and just, you know, they kept calling me, and I would tell them like, but why are you guys doing this? And they're like, miss, when you come over here, we'll explain to you everything. That's all they kept saying. When you come over here, we'll explain everything. When you come over here, we'll explain it. And I'm like what the fuck? So I was so pissed. Like, I had just mixed emotions everywhere. You know, I appreciated those who came to the hospital to actually see me. They were the ones who were there for me. And then at the hospital, Brandon's cousins went and they were there for him. Like, I appreciate them so much. Like, at that time, you know, both of us needed comfort, and, you know, we had that, which was really good. But see, Brandon was, you know, over there with Maximus. You know, I thought he knew everything, but he was just as lost as I was. But for me, it was more of a shitty feeling because, you know, I'm the mother. I carried that baby for 9 months, and I'm just on the opposite side of where he's at. And, you know, getting phone calls about, can we do this, this, and that? And no one's answering my question. And, like, what the hell is going on? So, whatever. That's when I was like, all right, Delilah, you a bad bitch, and this is what you're going to do. You're going to pop all them pills, and the next day you're going to get discharged. For what I know, you can't get discharged, like, the next day. But, you know, since I'm a bad bitch, what I did was I popped pills. Nah, I didn't pop pills, but, like, you know, the medication they gave me. I took my happy ass to shower, put everything in a bag. I did this all by myself. My mom went to the house to go eat or get food. I forgot what. And I told my mom, I was like, be ready to pick me up. She's like, Delilah, they're not going to discharge you. And I'm like, be ready, girl. I'm going to call you. You're going to pick me up. So she knows I always be talking out of my butt and everything. So she went to go get food or something. I don't know what. Or change, shower, something. So I was like, all right, my mom's gone. I got my medication right here. Popped them pills. I took a shower, came out, you know, I gathered all my things together, and I remember the nurse came in. She's like, miss, did you take a shower? And I'm like, yeah. She's like, you're supposed to wait for us to, you know, help you out. I said, no, I got this. I'm totally fine. I said, can you call the doctor to have the doctor discharge me, please? They're like, I don't think that. And I said, can you call the doctor and have the doctor discharge me, please? Like, bitch, you know? And then she called the doctor, and of course, it wasn't even my doctor. It was the doctor who delivered my first baby. And I'm like, where's Miss so-and-so? Oh, she left on her vacation. And I said, how is she gonna leave on her vacation after what's going on? Like, she didn't even bother to come back and check up on me or let me know what's going on. I said, how do you do that? How do you deliver somebody's baby and then let them take your baby and not even talk to, like, the parent? Like, I thought that was some shady shit. So I'm like, okay. But this doctor was so nice, and she told me, she's like, are you sure you can walk? And I said, yeah, I could prove it to you. So she told me, if you could walk around you know, the unit, we'll see. Girl, I was walking, like, okay, walking, and then I came back to my room and I was like, so how did I do? And then she was like, oh my goodness, you're unbelievable. She's like, okay, listen, as long as you make me a promise, you can't be standing up. You need to be in a wheelchair. So, because she knew my whole situation and what was going on with my son and everything. And she even asked me, she's like, Miss, I'm sorry to ask you, but during your ultrasound, they didn't say anything to you? And I'm like, no. Throughout my entire pregnancy, everything was normal. I don't understand what is going on, and no one is answering my question, what the hell is going on? And she just had a face like, you know, your doctor's supposed to double look over the ultrasound. I said, I know, and I was told that everything was normal. So I don't know what's going on, but I will find out today once I get discharged. She discharged me, so I called my mom. I said, hey girl, come pick me up, I'm ready. She's like, you got discharged? I said, yup, you already know. And she was already on her way, and she's like, you know, I can hear my mom already over there laughing. Like, oh my God, girl, you crazy. I said, learn from the best. So she picked me up. Yeah, she picked me up, and then right away, I think she drove me to the hospital, or she took me home. I don't know how I ended up. Oh yeah, she did. She drove me to the hospital, because I remember as we were driving, my mom wasn't familiar with the University of Chicago as well, and she went down a one-way street. It was crazy, but yeah, that's how I remember. Yeah, she went down a one-way street. I was like, girl, I'm trying to make it to my son, and you're over here driving on a one-way street? Is you crazy? So we made it, you know, we made it. And when I got there, let me tell you, when lobby is like full, I'm talking about full on packed, like the first floor and the second or whatever floor we were on, and everyone's just crying and crying and hugging me, and I'm like what the hell is going on? Like, but at that moment I didn't even want nobody to tell me like I'm sorry or anything. Like, I just wanted to go see my son. I finally got to my destination, and I saw my baby. Right away, when I saw my baby, I started crying. Like, I broke down. He was, they had like the tube in his mouth so he could breathe. And then, like, I've never, like I told you, I've never in my life known about NICU. Like, I was clueless. I didn't even know, like, nothing. But not only did I enter, like, looking at my son, you know, I saw all these other babies, and I, like, it just hit me. Like, it's so sad to think so many impossible things can happen to a child. It was so hard entering that unit and seeing what I saw. Whatever. So, you know, I see my baby, and here's another picture. This is how he looked when I entered. And I thought he was sleeping. I told Brandon, I'm like, what's going on? Why is nobody, like, everyone's calling me to do this, this, and that, but nobody's telling me nothing. We got results for the MRI. They're like, unfortunately, there's nothing, like, nothing developed in there. And I'm like, how the hell does nothing develop in there? Like I was just so in denial. Like what? Like, that doesn't make sense. I'm like, there has to be. Like, that makes no sense. I've never in my life met someone who didn't develop eyes. So, yep, that's, a lot of your question was, is he blind? Yes. Unfortunately, he was born without eyes. So, you know, that killed me, because I'm like, he wasn't born without eyes. So he's never gonna know how I look, or his brother, or Brandon. So it was really emotional. But then, as I see Maximus, I turn his face, and I see his mouth, like, all the way over here. You see my mouth? His mouth was all the way over here. So, and then he had, like, skin tags all on his ears, and then his cheek where his mouth was, like, all open. He had one right here. And then, like, his face, his left side of his face looked so, like, weird, like droopy, like, I don't know, it just, you know, his face wasn't, like, normal, you know. And I was just stuck. Like, I was stuck, and I was just crying. Mind you, I had a C-section. I was discharged less than 24 hours, and I didn't give a shit. I stood up from my wheelchair, and I stood there. I know I was, like, supposed to be sitting down and stuff, but I didn't care. I was just there holding his hand, because I'm like, this can't be true. Like I said, like, I know there are other cases out there that are way more, like, serious, but to me this was, you know, serious. Like, I've never in my life seen or heard of anything that Max was born with. So they did all these testings, and Max was born with without eyes. They did test him for anophthalmia and microphthalmia. I believe I'm saying that right. And it came out negative. He was diagnosed with left palsy, where the left side of your face isn't, like, fully developed. So his nose, he didn't develop, like, a nostril. It's like, it looks like it was developing, but then it stopped. So it's like You see how my nose is like that? So his is like that, and he has like a little hole, like I'm talking about the needle, like a little hole right there. And then his mouth was stretched out all the way over here with a huge skin tag, and then his jaw didn't fully develop. From here to here, it's like this part of his face did not develop. So when you look like that, it's like it looks strange, like his face, it looks really weird. And then his ear is on this side is tiny. When they did the hearing test to see if he could hear, this one came out where like there was no waves, so he wasn't able to hear from this side of the ear. But yeah, so like it was just so many bad news back to back. He was born with a cleft lip, and then he was born with a cleft palate. So if you touch the top of your, like with your tongue, touch the top of like in your mouth, you feel that. Max didn't have any of that, so it was all open. And then yeah, that's pretty much it. So he was born with a cleft palate, a cleft lip, no eyes, and then left facial palsy, and then skin tags. Imagine you thinking like you had such a positive pregnancy, a good healthy pregnancy, or you know, a healthy baby in your belly, and then you have the baby and they just take the baby away, and then you come to find out all this happened. Like how I will never understand, you know, any of what happened to him. Like he does not deserve that. And then, you know, I would blame myself, like damn, even the littlest things, because I'm not gonna lie, with the prenatals, you know, during your pregnancy, they, you know, it's very important to keep up with it. But sometimes I would forget, so I'm like, damn, is it because I didn't take my prenatals that like I didn't give myself that much vitamin for him to develop, you know, everything. Like I blamed myself for so long. Like I blamed myself for so much, because I just didn't understand why did this happen to him? Why us, you know? It was hard. So yeah, so I know a lot of you guys asked like, is he blind? Yes, he's blind, unfortunately. I thought they could, you know how they do like kidney transplants and all that. I asked like, can you guys do eye transplants or something, you know, so he can have eyes. They're at, you know, at this very moment you can't, there's nothing I can do about it, because you know there's things that connects to the brain and it has to develop, you know, all together, and he didn't develop anything, so there's no eyes can be given to him. They did tell me about prosthetics. I didn't really know about that either until Max. Right now that's what he has. In the beginning of his process, he had these like these little glass eyes, but they had like sticks coming out. But going back to what I was saying, so he was in the NICU for 16 days. It was pretty tough because when your baby's in the NICU, they don't let you stay overnight. You have to go home. But with Max, we were literally there every day till like 2 in the morning, and then they let us sleep. So, you know, all that was going on. And then I forgot, you know, about my baby Neymar. Like, I'm like, how am I gonna explain to him that like his brother was born without eyes? Like, it was so much for us, so much. So that first day, I remember seeing Max. It was really hard. I went home and I was so happy to see Neymar, because Neymar didn't see me for 2 days. You know, because I had the baby, and then the following day I went right away to University of Chicago. I didn't even visit him. But yeah, we went home, and you know, I was just so happy to see him. I remember I was just all on him. Like, I didn't want to let him go. Every day it was tough because Neymar would be like, where are you going? Like, why can't I go with you? They didn't let him enter the NICU because he was too little. He had to be, I think, 12 years old. So they didn't allow him. So yeah, it was rough. The 16 days, it may not seem like a long time, but it was a long time for us. Those 16 days, it felt like freaking months. So now I'm gonna go and tell you about our experience in the NICU. University of Chicago, great hospital. I loved all of the nurses, all of them. They were honestly awesome. In the beginning, it was more of testing him, because they wanted to see if his eyes open, or because his eyes literally were shut, like like they would stretch his eye to see what's inside, and it wouldn't open. Like it was like glued together. Like it was so weird. Yeah, so, and he didn't even have eyelashes, nothing. So they were waiting to see if his eyes would open, and then they went more in depth with it, like everything. Max was born 8 pounds 5 ounces, and he went all the way down to almost 6 ounces. He lost a lot of weight being in the NICU, and in literally 16 days, like he lost so much weight. It was because he wasn't eating. I was breastfeeding every day. I was determined, like, I'm doing this. Like every 2 hours I was pumping, whether it was like a drop or two. The first 3 days it was just nothing but drops. I'm like, no, like I know I can produce milk, like I know it. I tried everything in the book, you know, to produce milk. I did. Finally I was able to pump. I started pumping like 6 ounces every boob, every 2 hours. Like I was on it, and doctors loved that. They were so happy to see that I was pumping. But unfortunately for Max was only eating, he wasn't drinking ounces. He was drinking, I think it's milliliters. So he would drink 6 milliliters, and then 15 milliliters, and then 20 milliliters. But I guess it wasn't doing its job, so he just kept losing weight. But the thing is, he couldn't feed because of his mouth. How his mouth was so open, like he couldn't suck on the bottle. So it was like difficult. So then that's when they did a feeding tube so he can gain weight. And so he was gaining a little bit of weight, but doctor said that obviously I can't go home and, you know, take a feeding tube or whatever. So we have to teach him how to eat on his own, and then he had to eat a certain amount of ounces or milliliters before we can even be discharged. It was just so many complications, one after another. So then, like, I'm like, no, like I want my baby to come home already. I'm tired of me leaving him and then I come home. Like, which I did not sleep those 16 days. I did not sleep. It was so hard for me to sleep. I mean, come on, I'm over here, my son's over there. I was determined. I'm like, Max, come on. So every day I was working with him. Finally he gained weight. He gained 7 pounds. He went up to 7 pounds 10 ounces. And that's when the doctor's like, all right, we see progress. Okay, you guys can be discharged. And that was awesome. I was so happy. I remember they had to do the car seat testing for 40 minutes or 60 minutes. He passed that. So then we're like, yeah, now we really could go home. Yeah, that's what's going on. Okay. I'm sorry if I did my ugly Kim K cry. I really wasn't trying to cry. I'm like, I got this. I'm a bad bitch. Like, I don't cry. But I did. But that's okay. So I'm going to be answering questions now. A lot of you guys asked questions. Some of it was like, oh, is he blind? And I answered that. I do appreciate all the loving messages that all of you guys gave me. Like, you guys are fucking awesome. Awesome. Love yous. So this person messaged me. Yes, film one, please. How did you deal with negativity or rude comments towards him, if there was some? I never dealt with any rude comments, and if I did, I would have came for the bitch and fucked her up, let me tell you. But I did deal with looks. That was, till this day, I still deal with that. But when Max had his eyes, like they were like stick eyes, oh man, the attention was always on him, and I would just explode. Like, and Brandon would be like, chill, like they don't know. Just, no, don't fucking look at my son like that. I was so bad, let me tell you, because I didn't know how to, like I said, I was just in a dark place, and then people giving me looks and my son looks, like I was ready to fight somebody all the time. And then Brandon would be like, dude, chill, like they don't know. But yeah, I would like get crazy, let me tell you. I would be Ratchet 101. But now when I get looks, I just smile and wave, and then they just turn around like, what the fuck. And then in the back I'll be like, you know. But I grew up. Okay, here's another one. This person said, this would be such a great video. I've always wanted to ask but felt like it was too much of a touchy subject, because if I were in your shoes I wouldn't be comfortable answering either. My question would be, what was yours and Brandon's reaction when your doctor told you about your complications with Max? Does Neymar understand he's different? Sorry if I'm not using the correct words. I don't say it with ill intents. No, girl, you fine, you fine. Okay, my doctor didn't say shit to me. She literally delivered my baby and then left on her happy ass vacation. So yeah, does Neymar understand he's different? Yes and no. He knows Max doesn't have eyes. I don't think he remembers like with the whole cleft palate or lip any of that, but he does understand that he doesn't have eyes. And I guess it's more of like he doesn't understand there's a certain limit when it comes to playing with him. In the beginning, Max was very sensitive as far as like texture. Like he wouldn't touch nothing, and he would have his hands, like I said, like this, and he wouldn't want to play with nothing, touch nothing, nothing. And Neymar would always give him dinosaurs or something and tell him like, play with me. And Max would like cry and just stay there. And Neymar would get emotional, like, why isn't he playing with me? So to this day, I'm still dealing with that where Neymar wants him to play with him. But Max, you know, he just doesn't want to. Max is very like to himself. He doesn't want to play with nobody or talk to nobody. But I'm trying to break that bubble. Like I need Max to be social. How Neymar is, all up in everybody's business, I need Max to be like that. Wanting to play and bother everybody. But when we go to school, I love that Neymar is not like embarrassed. Like he'll be like, yeah, my brother, this is my brother. But then he'll be like, and he doesn't have eyes. And I'm just like, oh my God, Neymar. Like sometimes I'm just like, oh my God. But Neymar gets no fucks. It's like, it's my brother and he doesn't have eyes. Isn't that cool? And then his friends, I remember, because I always, every little event that they have, any parties, girl, I'm there. You know, I'm that mom that shows up to everything. So I remember we showed up to the Christmas party and he was telling them, and all his friends are like, what? Like, where are they? Like, curious. So Neymar, like, papi, like, sometimes we gotta keep that to ourselves. Like, people, if they ask, then say it. You don't need to, like, tell everybody. Like, but Neymar has no filter and he don't care. He's just like, this my brother and he don't got eyes. What's up? Like, so I love that about him, that he's not like shy or he's not embarrassed about his brother. He is not. He'd be telling the whole world in Target about his brother. So that's good. I love that he loves his brother. Like, I was so afraid that he would feel some, like, different or feel some type of way towards his brother. But no, he has nothing but love. And I love that. Max, on the other hand, he's a little mean to his brother. Anytime Neymar kisses him or hugs him or anything, he pushes him away or pulls Neymar's hair. Or he'll purposely, Neymar will be sitting next to him and he'll just stretch his arm and then just cry because supposedly Neymar's touching him. Like, Max is just rude. But no, Neymar loves him. Yeah, I don't know if I answered the question, but yeah. What's his favorite food? Max eats everything. He loves enchiladas. He eats hot chips, pizza, hot dogs. He eats everything on the book. I hate papaya and he loves that. So he doesn't have a favorite food. He doesn't have a favorite food. When I ask him what do you want to eat, he lists everything on the menu that he loves. So you could say anything. Anything. He eats everything. How are his therapies coming along? And are there updates with him learning Braille someday? His therapies are going great. Unfortunately, with this whole COVID-19 BS, we had to stop. We stopped March. But I've been working with him every day. He's doing very well now. He's a lot open with touching stuff and searching for the noise. Feeding, we're working on that where he feeds himself because he's a little lazy and he wants me to do everything. And then walking is our biggest issue. He's so lazy. Like, he can walk, but he doesn't want to do it. He'll do it when he wants to. So it's more of finding his balance and walking on his own. Because he'll walk on the walker, but to walk on his own, he won't do it. And if I hold like my finger and he holds it and we're walking together, he'll walk. But then he gets tired after 1 minute. And I tell him, son, in the real world, you walk all day, every day. So what is you doing, you know? But yeah, we're working with him on that. We've been working on Braille since he was, I want to say 8 months. I have like all these books and we just, as I'm reading the story, I put his hand on all the balls. Like, so that's how we've been practicing. And he loves it. Before, he wouldn't touch it. He would be so scared. Were you ever embarrassed to show him off on social media? No, I was never embarrassed. I think it took me time to even be on social media, but I think I uploaded the first month, like his first month picture. But on Snapchat, if you have my on Snapchat, I would always take pictures and videos of him. But no, never embarrassed or anything, and I will never be embarrassed. Like, that's my baby boy. Are you scared to have another kid? He or she comes out like Max. In the beginning, I would talk, I would keep up with his neonatal and the genetics doctor. Like literally we had every doctor on the book handling Max's case. I remember when they found out about us, let me tell you, the top person of like the University of Chicago building came to see us personally, and I remember she was so nice. She's like, here's my number, let me know if any nurse is treating you wrong, or if anybody's treating you wrong, we will bring in someone. Like they were taking care of us so good, like so good. The genetics doctor, like he was loving Max's case, because I guess this was the first time he's ever dealt with Max's case. So he was so like determined to figure out what was going on with him. Literally they did test on me and then him, and obviously we got nowhere. So that's another thing I should have mentioned. Max has no diagnosis as of right now. Max is himself. Yeah, Max is 1 in every 250,000 babies born, born without eyes. So but here in Illinois, I think he's the first baby. Like it's, I don't know, it's weird. There was really no research for him to be able to like look through for us to get an answer. I remember when we did the testing on me and I went to go see him, and I told him like, okay, what's the results? And he's like, as of like right now, we don't know. This is the kind of case where we're gonna have to learn as he grows. So I was so heartbroken when they told me that this is a case where it's a learning process. We're gonna learn as he grows. But I found a Facebook page that has been like helping me out through all of this. They have babies like me, but they're in like Africa or Europe. Like I swear, no one from Illinois is on this group. So that's why I feel like I'm the only one here with him. But oh my god, I went off topic. But yeah, going back to that, the genetics thing, he did say it's a 1% chance to having like a baby like this. So usually when you have a kid like with a special need, you shouldn't have another kid like that again. But like they said, they don't really know what exactly Max's diagnosis is. So I wouldn't find out until I'm pregnant and have the baby, to see if I have another baby like Max. So when I heard that news, I was a bit like I love Max, you know, he is perfect the way he is, and you know, I don't regret him or nothing. But to have 2 babies like him, that's really tough, like really, really tough. And I honestly wouldn't be able to do it. So at that time, it was scary to even think about another kid like him. So I remember I was like, I don't want to have any more babies because I can't have more babies like that. Like, but now I've come, you know, now that I'm comfortable and I'm seeing how Max is growing into this beautiful person, like I don't even care. Like if I were to have another one and it comes out to be like Max, like I wouldn't even care, because now I know how to like cope with everything. Like I said, I had to figure things out on my own and stuff. But if I were to have another one, yeah, I wouldn't mind. Okay, I believe that's it. I appreciate all your guys' questions. I hope you guys enjoyed this long ass video. Comment down below on other videos you would love me to do. Now that I got the hang of vlogging, editing, and everything, even though it takes me like 5 days, I do not mind it now. What else to do during this, you know, quarantine time? So yes. Please follow me on my socials. Instagram is Beauty by Delilah. My Facebook page is Delilah Padilla. And then follow me on TikTok, Lala_P. Please guys, like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. See you guys in my next video.